Hello, everybody. This is the Tales of Revedia. This is where we play Dungeons and Dragons, if you've heard of it. Um, we have a cast of players here today, minus one, because her soul has been damned by her patron to who knows what, really. Um, but that's for them to find out. I don't know what's going to go on with that quite yet. Uh, hopefully we'll figure out at some point. But yeah, we're back. This is Tales of Revedia. I'm not going to reintroduce the cast because for the four people who watch this, you know who they are. And if you don't, context will help you out real quick very soon. I know what's fucking me up. Where's it at? Uh, oh, I didn't. Oh, shit. So yeah, Neff is here. I just did not click the button that
Hi.
made his token visible on the scene. Shame on me. I will never let this happen again.
I just vanished. It's okay.
Yeah, you careful because if it happens too
Rolled a
many times,
20.
you die in real life. I don't make
Oh,
those rules. I don't know who does. Honestly, personally, I think it's kind of fucked up. Um, but that's how we have to do it. That's what keeps the cog spinning. Something. We live in a society. But anyways, to briefly recap, what happened last session. As the party commenced in battle, uh, with the trial of Mistra set forth upon them to take the blessing of that was once given to Phinia and give it on to Sparks. That way he could fulfill his goal of granting his master. Uh, Man, you got in my head. Lara, not Laura. Lara Vey. Her powers back, which had been taken
yard.
a long time ago. By a crazy cult of people who were doing some probably not cool stuff with it, because usually you don't strip people of their magical essence for good intent. But you can make the argument. Anyways, with that, as the party has exited uh, Mistra's temple, they have found themselves, first of all, not having to deal with the interlopers waiting outside. That seemingly done for them in the meantime. Um, with the request from Sparks to go back home, and a misunderstanding on my part, uh, you all have found yourselves teleported. Uh, this swirling and sort of shifting mass of greenery all around you till it changes. And there's still these sort of cerise, these sort of massive amounts of trees, but it's a type of forest that some of you may be much more familiar with, as opposed to the wild jungles that exist all about the Emerald Lane. Um, and in this area stands a fairly simple cabin, nestled into the woods, a well nearby, very humble abode. Um, Looking back as she finishes channeling the spell, and it'd probably be like later afternoon towards like the night at this point, because you guys, this literally whole thing has been in one day. Um, some people will have to sleep on the floor, but I think we should all get some rest. If you, I can at least make you all something to eat while we're here. Assuming none of the food is good, I'll have to go look for some. I don't think I've been back here since. Oh, at least 3 or 4 months.
Did
Longer?
did you not return when we last parted? I thought you had returned to the.
No, I had spent most of my time staying around Reveed and doing a small excursion back upwards towards the north near Raven Ridge. I'd say I haven't really found the time to come back here.
Well, everywhere else, this is where I live with, well, my master here. We have a small room. Not a lot of space, but you're all welcome to stay in it. And uh, Sparks will, go towards the cabin and gesture for everyone to follow him.
This is a really nice place, Sparks. Thank you.
That's great. How many semesters?
It's a bit small, but you don't usually need a lot of space, and I didn't really know a lot of people until you guys. So um you know but here, my room, and it's basically it's a small space, but there isn't really a bed. It's just a lot of like soft things on the floor, and then like this, like, for want of a better term, like beanbag-esque thing in which Sparks usually kills up onto sleep, and he goes like, just sort of sinks into it on one side.
As you guys are sort of like getting introduced to the abode, uh, two quick questions. The first of one is, as a reminder, what is everyone's passive perception skills?
Oh no. Uh, I don't know how to look up that.
I forgot.
It's your perception plus 10. So Jungun's is 20.
14.
18.
Okay. So I would say all of you notice, and Laura as well, as you guys are sort of getting situated, there's something feels off. And it's you, Junga, and Zoltar being like the sort of first ones to pick up on it. And it sort of accentuated the rest of you as Laura runs her finger on one of the counters, like, strange, there's no dust or anything on the counters. It's almost as if someone's cleaned it recently.
Sparks, where did you take us precisely? North, south, east, west?
We went north from current from the temple. We're just outside of Evermore.
I see, so we're still in the lane.
Yeah, this is where I live. More civilized area, less lizards.
And as you're sort of remarking that, Jungan, you notice, like, as well, there is, like, the obvious, your Jungan's on top, there's, like, the obvious, there's not dust in the counters like there should be if she hasn't been here for a few months. You don't smell any food that's been spoiled in the meantime since she's been gone. It definitely has the feeling that someone or something this place has been upkept in her absence. And she seems just as confused by it as, or she does not seem to have expected it to have been upkept.
I think we might need to see if someone's been here. Anything you notice missing?
And I'll say both. I'll have make one for Laura and Sparks if you would like to make an investigation check as well, considering you know the home. I'd say you could do so at advantage.
Oh, well, definitely needed the advantage.
So. Oh, I didn't give her any. That's funny. Yeah, that should be like that. It doesn't have skill proficiencies, but that's okay. I'll just roll it for the sake of it. As you guys are looking around the home, nothing seems out of place. While Laura was not a collector of many, like, gaudy or, like, expensive items, you do know that she had a few things that she kept in the house from her adventures back when she was sort of traveling on the road. Similar to as you find yourself now. And you know that she had very, like, specific spots that she placed them in, like upon the mantle in there, and it looks like they've been moved, but nothing has been taken. You can't find anything in the house that's supposed to be here that isn't.
Can I look around to see if I can find anyone that has been around? Using, you know.
I'd say with that investigation
Playing.
check, are you like looking like you don't see first? You wouldn't have found anyone hiding in the house as you're like sort of looking throughout things.
I guess
And
outside to see if I can find any tracks or anything. Most likely would have brought Zelthar with me to,
yeah,
do his eye thing.
and as you guys, so you can give the investigation check for that. As you guys are looking around, it does seem like there are like two sets of tracks that seem to like be kind of like overlapping. The most recent one looks maybe like a few days old. They look like humanoid like footprints or like blueprints. But the last like scene just they was them leaving this place. But there's multiple sets of tracks like coming like back and forth in this area.
I don't know. Do you know anyone that would come here?
No, I don't. I don't exactly get visitors. It's possible that me being absent so long, maybe someone decided to stake a claim to the cabin. But that'd be irregular for any of the locals, at least, to do so. And lizard folk don't wear boots. So I'm
Well,
doubtful that it was them either.
don't really know what it is then. I guess we just will sleep and in the morning we'll check out what these footprints are if they don't come during the night, and then, I would imagine it's probably gonna be simple misunderstanding, and then, we'll head back to Revedia once it's all dealt with, if that's all right with you guys.
That sounds amenable. Thank you for inviting us into your home. Hopefully your next homecoming does not feel so foreign to you as this strange circumstance.
It's odd. We wanna maybe do watches for this evening. I know it's very strange to do it inside a house, but like maybe pull out a rocking chair and someone can just sit for a couple of hours and.
Well, before then, can I use detect magic inside the cabin?
So, casting detect magic. Outside of the obvious people that would give you, your typical magical presence, there are like a few objects upon the mantle that also have magical presences to them. You see one is two sort of matching necklaces. One this very like ivory white, and the other like onyx black, that are sort of like hung like next to each other. Directly next to the mantle is like a shield that also has some magical signature, and that and what's it called? There'd also be a staff that has a magical presence, but it looks like visually it looks like a mundane like wooden staff.
So these necklaces and shield and staff, these are normally magical, right, Sparks?
And you would know that
yeah.
they are, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're all Lara's stuff, so about stuff that I would usually touch. But yeah,
I see.
they have been moved. They're the stuff is they're usually in set places, and they have been moved slightly. So the someone definitely that have come in, but other than that, that all the things are still here. So.
Either way,
Um,
this close to Evermore, we should be safe from anything major. I'm fairly certain it's as you said before, Sparks. This is some sort of misunderstanding. However, food stores do seem to be in a little bit short supply, and I don't feel like making a day trip into Evermore around this time, so. Um, if one of you would like to join me, I'm gonna go out and see if I can find some game, at least for a small meal tonight.
I'd be down.
Perfect.
I'd love to join. Well, I watch enough YouTube.
I mean, me and
You have
Zelthar
to
should be
really
able to
be
handle it.
quiet to, hunt game and, well, juggling with your armor and stuff, it really wouldn't work. I mean, I wouldn't go either because I suck at it. I tried before and I just scare things off mostly.
Okay,
You can,
instead. Okay, there.
can help me, prepare it once I get back, though, if, good luck.
So it looks like it sparks. Dark chocolate.
Wonderful. We'll be back. We'll be back briefly. I know that I still remember these woods very well.
Kalis, he, sort of squats down like crisscross applesauce in the corner somewhere, and he sort of like sheds all of his furry garb in the sort of like little critters that he wears, and he sort of gathers them up in sort of like a pile there in the corner with him, and he addresses them all. All right, and he starts feeding them each a treat, like one to the one, make sure everyone gets a little nut or a berry or something. And he says, "All right, scour this place. Find the mice in the walls. Bring them to me, and we shall have them under our thrall. Befriend them, so they may join our number. Go now, my children. Go now." And they just
No.
scurry out through and begin burrowing
No.
into any corners or loose floorboards.
No, stop! I need to eat those mice. They're my snacks. No.
Go ahead and make me an animal handling check just for shits and giggles.
22.
Okay.
That's about right.
After maybe about like 10 minutes, you see a group of them. What's it called? Return with and it's almost like they're being like carried on like a wave of smaller animals. Just sort of three mice that are just kind of like more confused than anything else as they're just presented to you.
I take the sort of like enchanted leaf that's the mask of the beast, and I just like immediately just put it on. I hold out my hand like I'm some sort of sorcerer, mind controlling people, and I cast animal friendship 3 times. Join us.
They don't need to make a save for that,
Join
dude.
us.
I don't remember how that works.
I think it's the DC 13 save.
I would be honest, probably only one needs to fail it for the other ones to just go along with it. Yeah, nah. One of them's kind of just looking like, who do you think you are? But the other ones are just... They're compliant. You have food in your hand, so it makes it a lot easier to convince mice to do things.
True. But yeah, we'll just make some new friends and just hang out in Kalis's mini camp for the night.
Yeah. But as a few hours go by, Laura and Zelthar, actually Zelthar, make me a survival check at advantage. Just so we have a vague idea what gets brought back. 26.
I should have just copy pasted it. Okay, there we go.
Nah, hey, I mean you were good with 26. Um, after being gone, I said for maybe like better part of like an hour and some change, which would be fast for what they have accomplished. You see, that simply because logistic reasons, it would have been a pain in the ass for the two of you to carry through the woods. What's it called? You guys would hear Laura sort of yelling towards the cabin as you guys are waiting. Boys, outside, cleaning to do. As she's come back, you managed to have like a sort of like a full deer or a buck that's sort of like being like held atop of Bigby's hand. Simply because she ain't carrying that shit.
The one deer that escaped all of the dinosaurs.
Yep.
It's a scaled deer. It's got scales.
Yeah, it's got like dragon horns on it instead of antlers. It's actually pretty cool.
It's what passes for a deer in Evermore.
I mean, luckily there is still like
Oh,
some.
it's one of those MMO deers. I see.
Yeah. Man, I have a piece of metal stuck in my hand. That is very distracting.
Yeah.
You consider not?
Due to my line of work, it happens more often than I would like. But as you guys,
Be considered a magnet.
uh, here's the thing. I don't know if you've ever had metal inside your skin and then used a magnet on it. That shit feels weird.
Yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause
but it comes out.
No, and you have to. Not if it gets snagged on something.
Well, you know, there are no bad ideas, except that one.
Because there actually is a magnet at work just for that people use. It just was not strong enough. As you all sort of clean the deer, relaxing for the night, and going forth. And if you guys want to take watches, feel free to present your order, of which makes no difference. Makes not difference to me.
I'll take third watch.
So that'd be the last one then.
I don't know. There's usually 4, isn't there?
Oh yeah. No, well, one of you wouldn't need to take a watch because Laura could as well, because she's not exactly like as she didn't have to strain herself as much as you guys did because you did not really have the capability to.
I will take first watch, and I want to like line the roof with like a single man strong line of my pets, sort of manning the battlement and looking omnidirectionally out into the forest.
I get a rocking chair out and I'm like, oh, he's gone.
I'll take second watch.
All right. All of y'all feel free to roll my perception checks then for the course of the night. That makes sense. So, as the night continues, as you guys are trading off from watch to watch, besides the sounds of the forest, there isn't anything eventful that seems to happen. Later on, as you guys are all sort of getting ready in the morning, as everyone's sort of rising, and what's it called? Making the preparations for you all to start the return to Revedia. Juggin, you pick up on it first. Sort of hearing it through sort of an open window to let a breeze in. You hear people arguing? You hear 2 distinct voices, but that's all. And I'm gonna need to check something in the bathroom real quick. I'll be able to hear you. Even though you can't really you can talk to them. I say to do something.
Did he say we got a long rest?
Yes, you did.
I don't know.
Apparently we did.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, we
Thank
did.
you.
Yeah, we heard. We heard you.
So hear them out the window. Can I like stick my whole head in the window and see them?
Yeah.
Or like see if I can see the people?
I can put on this whole.
So,
Yes, you can. As you stick your head out the window, you see coming down the pathway that leads directly. Well, you wouldn't. You actually probably would have mentioned that it goes towards like one of the main jungle paths that goes towards Evermore. Since you guys are like pretty close to it, relatively speaking. You see two figures making their way down it. Pum pum pum. The first of which, where's it at? Sort of large puffy hair that goes down to the shoulder, and you see the sort of tips of these elven ears pointing out of it. This tall woman, not as tall as you, sort of tall, muscular, elven woman. I can just show you the image. Man, I thought that was... that felt like that was higher quality when I downloaded that. That figure. And, what's it called? Next to her, you see... Is it this guy? Yeah, there you go. Those two. And, the one, the girl saying to, or the, sort of scaled fella, doesn't look quite dragonborn. Looks differently. You haven't really encountered a lizard folk before, but he seems to be somewhere, he definitely looks reptilian at the very least. You see, he keeps telling you, Clothor, it's a waste of time. We've been here for 3 weeks, coming in and out. We have more important things to be doing. We can't just sit here and wait for her to do everything for us. And she goes, in response, the girl kind of snaps her head at him. We're not relying on her for anything. This is her business just as much as it is ours. Imagine how pissed she would be if she found out after we went out and did something. If, if Cotton, if there's a chance we can get Cotton back, she deserves to know. And as she looks back, you watch as, like, they sort of look back towards the figure, and he just, like, nudges her, as he's just, like, staring at you with your head peeking out the window.
Good morning.
And there is a very weird sensation because they don't immediately look friendly to a stranger, because you seem to not be the person they were expecting. But you all hear Jungen yell this out the window.
I will, like, stick my head out too. Do I recognize these people?
No, you have not seen them before.
Who are you?
As Laura said, what are you all yelling about? As he goes, he looks over at her. Who the fuck are these people? It's like, I know just as much as you do. We walked here at the same time. Yeah.
This is my house, technically.
Last time I checked, you are not an elven woman. Either that, or you're one who has picked up very different skills since the last time we've met.
Rather for you, I think.
As she sort of turns from making breakfast, I don't get house visitors out here. Um, as just going to the door because it's closer than the grouping of people around the window currently. She steps forwards and she opens the door, looking upon both of them. Sparks, could you make me an insight check with advantage?
Okay. Where is inside? Oh god. Oh wow, that was higher than I was expecting.
Despite spending what we could call an arcane absence from her usual skill set, you watch as you can see sort of the weave intently, like, flowing around her. And there is, like, the sort of, like, standing up of your fur. You've seen her do this before. It looks like she is about to produce lightning. As she looks furious.
Hey, what are you doing, love? Maybe words.
And as you say that, the one on the right, the lizard folding guy goes, "I fucking told you!" As he just ducks, like, sort of drops to the ground. And the other person, sort of, like, tries to, they sort of both, like, jump out of the way as a bolt of lightning arcs, past them. And storming out of the house, you just hear Laura yell, "What in the hells do you think you're doing here? Was I not clear when I said I didn't want to see any of you all again?" And what a waste of my time. The audacity you have to show your faces. And the one who gets up off the ground first, he just puts his hands up. "Laura, just wanted to talk about some things. It's important." She's just turning to face towards him because her eyes were focused on the elven woman at first, because that seemed to be like the sort of, like, focus of her anger. Where is it? Goes, "Quam, nothing you have to say to me could be that important that it's worth the inconvenience of the inconvenience of your company once more."
I'll step out behind her and basically go, who are these people? As, trying to vaguely diffuse the situation, but not.
The one that was called a Clothro earlier says, "Old friends," which she probably doesn't talk about much anymore. And Laura, turning towards you, says, "They were a group that I had traveled with for some time. They were some of the ones that helped me claim some of the things you see up on the mantle up there. And apparently, this is not your first time here?" And once again, the sort of lizard folk gets up to his feet, like, his hands still up, as he's also trying to defuse the situation. It's like, "Laura, we just need to talk. It's important." And as she's about to snap once, like, more, like, towards him, man, I have to find it. What name did I just say? I fucking lost it. What was his name?
Was it Quam?
Not Quam. The two people, the one they were talking about. Did they say his name? Did they say a name besides each other's?
Oh, they mentioned a name of someone they were looking for, but I didn't write that down.
Oh, Cotton. I think it was Cotton. But he sort of, with a sense of, "We think we know where Cotton is." And stopping, dead in her tracks. "I know where he is as well. It's called Dead." And the one, Quam, Laura, we know how this works. Things aren't that simple. There's lots of ways to get around that type of thing. It's like, not how he died. That's a prettier linear line from living to not living anymore. And, because, look, can we please just talk about this? I feel like I'm only here because I felt like you deserve to know. Um, and as there's that sort of moment of like tense silence, as you can see Laura contemplating in her head how much time she wants to give this conversation. Do you have any response to the Sparks? As you're sort of also out there, like you said, you're kind of standing behind her.
Not really, other than, basically gonna, if she looks like she's gonna cast something again, try and stop it, unless specifically the other two members of the party try to the two that I don't know, if they try to do anything aggressive, in which case I won't do anything. I will not stop her. But it just seems that I don't know who these people are, obviously.
Yeah, and you know
do not want her to.
This is a very uncharacteristic anger you've seen as well.
Yes. So other than that, I just, I guess I'll ask who that person is. Who died. And to what?
And as she's sort of, it's like one of those like tense, like audible, like swallows before speaking words that you don't want to. He was part of us as well, and
well, I guess that I was just is.
And the girl speaks up. Laura, you're always so roundabout. When are you just going to say you were married?
Wait, you were married?
And as she turns towards you, yes, Pox, I've been a lot of things before we met.
Well, I know, but you just, I figured you'd have a picture or at least mention them.
Maybe I had a reason not to.
I mean...
Maybe we had a good reason not to have this conversation.
Well...
And... as...
strange.
Is, what's it called? Columns, just a few minutes, Laura, that's all. Smell breakfast? And almost as if, like, this sort of small wash of nostalgia. So you see her grit her teeth. 10 minutes, we all have business we need to attend to. I'm sure you have something much more important you need to be doing besides standing outside my house being fucking creeps. As she stalks off inside.
So, I turn to the other ones.
The mice lining the gutters after she says that say, yeah, but it just sounds like squeak.
Like, did you, what? Hi, she's my teacher, master, I live with her. I'm Sparks, by the way. What? She clearly doesn't like, what did you guys do? I need to understand that before we go and talk.
As, the, what's it called? The woman, steps forward towards you. After Cotton died, things got very tense and very complicated. We didn't exactly all leave each other on the best of notes before we all went our separate ways. A lot of high emotions, a lot of really tense arguments.
Somewhat responsible for the death? Is that why she hates you?
I think she may view us as responsible, but I think she also views herself as responsible too.
Okay. Cool. Because, I mean, I'm gonna do my best to stop her from murdering you, but considering that I just got her magic back for her, I don't know if I can do that
He's just
successfully.
there's like they both go back for a second. It's like you see a no insight needed look of like kind of like confusion at the statement.
Well, yeah.
Oh.
So, long story short, some cultists were stealing magic, and they stole her magic for I would say a couple of months, maybe like 6 months or so. And I just completed a trial of Mystery and successfully got her powers back. So that's just that. It's completely nonchalantly, you know.
Oh,
As
and
if it's an everyday thing.
and like the Kwame seems like he has like a moment of like that where like it's like it's kind of impressive, but the lady's just like, oh, that's cool. And just like I keep telling you, you need to get a student. They can do cool things like this. Meanwhile, so you don't have to do everything yourself. It's like you don't have one. It's besides the point. And from the inside of the house, you just hear, "Are you coming inside or not?"
I was just fine. Don't do anything hasty. No sudden movements.
Rest assured, we've played the game before. We know how it works.
Okay. I'm gonna turn back to the rest of the group and just go, oh no. And then, come back in.
So, as they make their way in as well. And this is not a large place for the now, 6 people that are here? Well, no.
No, there's more than 6.
Yeah.
Because there's the, technically, I would imagine because we still have the second adventuring party came back with us.
Oh, fuck, I totally forgot about... Yeah. Oh, God.
Yeah, I would imagine... Did they camp outside? Or camped inside? Or did
not
they
Vaughn.
disappear this morning and teleport back?
Vaughn would have made himself a little tower. They have like the
He's in a
Golders
magnificent
Tower.
mansion, right? Like, we were like, hey, can we come inside? And he was like, no.
No, magnificent mansion. No, the specialist for that. But a Golders Tower he can manage.
Yeah.
It's like a temporary 2-story wizard's tower.
Oh, yeah.
That has like a few rooms. That was my usual setup when I was playing a wizard in one campaign. It's like, tiny hut is cool and arguably more useful, but a wizard's tower, wherever I want it.
Yeah.
Obvious choice.
Exactly, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
And you see,
so I will enter.
You see, like, Ken, peeking through the curtains, but other than that, this seems like they're not getting in this business.
I will go up to Lara and I will ask it. So, is there anything else that, you've kept secret all this time that would be useful to know about?
When was knowing that I was previously married have been useful?
I don't know. It's just I thought I knew you, and now it turns out that you have this whole secret thing that I didn't know about. So I want to make sure that there's nothing, secretive else. Because I tell you everything.
Yes, you do, Sparks. 1 second. Sparks, just so we're clear, it's not necessarily me being secretive from you. It's just the amount of information is fairly different when I've lived maybe 300 years up to this point. So, a lot of experiences get wrapped up in all that stuff.
Yeah, but I feel like the marriage thing. I felt like it was something that would have been mentioned in the many years that we have spent here.
And it wasn't for a very specific reason. Don't do this to me too.
Fine.
It was for different times. And as what's it called? She's continuing to cook. There's like this sort of awkward sounds. It's like Clothra, one of the lady, sort of like looking like over, like looking up and down Kalis. It's like, what's your You like a minotaur?
Um,
Kind
no.
of like cock's head. Not a centaur. Um,
Give you a hint. Rattles antlers.
no, I get the deer part. I just never seen that before. Not a satyr. You're too big for a satyr.
No, satyr are kind of lazy.
You don't have that
Pretty unreliable
mischievousness
at
to you
times.
naturally. I don't feel that from coming from you.
No, you picked up on that. That's nice.
Very insightful.
Uh, well, I look. I'm a human.
And now she really like. It's like a really big like.
I do look a bit like like the deer of the moving wilds, though.
Ah, I see. Fey magic. That makes much more sense. And
But I am a human.
yeah,
I think perhaps you should, change that statement to were, because that careless man.
What do you mean? I'm not dead.
You have a deer for a head. I feel like you were once human, and now that you are
This is
more
just what I
than
look
human.
like.
and as like he's saying that, the Qualm just like, what's wrong with calling himself human? I'm human.
No, you're not.
I feel like I'm more
We're lizards.
qualified. I feel like I'm more qualified to give an answer on this topic than you are.
Well, I hate to inform you, but you are in fact a lizard / dragon. I don't know.
So which is it, Sparks?
Hey, look.
Since you're assigning races, I'd like.
I'd like to.
Which is the correct race for us, Sparks?
Deer person, lizard person, easy peasy.
That feels
Yes,
offensively
the most
reductive.
important word you just said was person.
Fine, lizard man. Dear man. Would you like me to call you a servitor?
A what?
No, I was just making up
Some
words.
I don't think
I
Roman
am not.
exists,
I am
Sparks.
smart.
Roman doesn't exist in this world.
And as that's going on, you hear like the aggressive cutting of vegetables that's been going on in the kitchen, and like the stirring of all that like finally cease as she comes over, and she actually puts like this large pot, like sort of like a cauldron, what's it called, next to the fire, like hooked on there so it can actually cook. And she goes, pleasantries aside, get to the point. And
Pleasantries?
I'm just talking about. She meant between y'all, not her. What's it called? And as they sort of look at each other for a moment, and then Qualm goes and clears his throat. Well, as you know, once we all went our separate ways doing our own thing, well, you would know. I spent some time in outer realms, going to other planes for my own personal reasons, but I started hearing descriptions of a figure. They say a man who's been hopping the plains, fighting under various gods, almost as if a hired hand. But every description they've given me is the exact same. And Lara, I swear on my life to you that they have described him exactly as Cadden was.
And what is that for reference?
What's it called? Also, a half-elven man. olive skin, the same sort of shaggyish brown hair, but the most distinctive thing that Cadden ever wore in all his interesting choices was armor that had been crafted out of platinum scales. Only one suit, only one of those exists, as far as I'm aware of it, anywhere. Simply because platinum scales aren't a thing you just come across.
I don't know.
No, factually, it's true. Do you know what platinum dragons? How many platinum dragons are?
I know what a platinum dragon is. I mean, that's
You know what
calls
the
out
platinum dragon is?
Bahamut.
Just that one, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I have a platinum scale in my bag. I have it for a spell. But I wouldn't feel like going around getting more is that difficult. Unless it's specifically from that dragon.
Yes. I'm sure whatever platinum scale you have, it's made of platinum, but these were scales from Bahamut. It was a boon granted onto us after a previous job, you could call it.
What, did you save the world or something?
And Clother just goes, "Yeah, we did. It was not even that hard, honestly."
Yeah. They're kind of doing that too.
Oh, nice. Either way, but I know that we left things off on a rather rough note. But if Cotton is alive out there somewhere, it almost feels wrong not to try and find him. Especially after, and then goes, what? And then she sort of cuts him off. Yes, especially after he sacrificed his life fighting off a demon lord so we could escape with our tails between our legs.
Which demon lord?
She is that what you are you asking her that, or
I mean, it's a general question as to the group that is talking rather than specifically her.
oh no, I'm sorry, not a demon lord. He technically is a fiend, but not a demon. Demon lord would still be the correct term.
Just out of character, didn't we, get into a plot that had a demon lord or two in it?
Yeah,
I
but
remember very early in the campaign.
yeah, but there's a lot of them. There's dozens.
Yeah, I know. Just wanted to make sure that it wasn't the same one that we had fucked with.
1 second.
I found my old notes the other day, for, like the very start of the campaign, because it's in a notebook that I had lost. I was like, oh, wow. I completely forgot we had Demon Lord stuff before I jumped through a portal and ruined that storyline.
It just went a different direction.
Yeah.
But as what's it called? So I just wanted to make sure you were voicing that question out loud. If that was a question you were.
Yes, I am voicing that question out loud.
Quan would answer Caprician.
Oh,
It was
not the one that.
a Capricorn.
What's
one who had ascended.
What?
Go on.
I was just wondering why you were messing with a demon lord.
He had caused a blight in the Emerald Lane that was attempting to spread further and further. It was getting closer to reaching the waters towards the heart of Revedia, and we were warned by some sort of prophecy that if the blight were to reach the heart, then terrible things would happen to the world. You know how it's a prophecy.
Yeah. Doom and gloom.
That was the main thing that made him our quarry.
And you succeeded in stopping the blight? Question.
The blight, yes. Caprician is not dead, but Cotton was able to seal themselves together. Or seal. Or he was able to seal himself and Caprician while we were escaping.
Into
In Hades. We weren't exactly staying there to watch the whole process. We just know that Caprician had magical abilities that let him. He was very skilled with conjuration, and I believe maybe he made some sort of demiplane, some advanced sort, in order to keep both of them. The details of which were something I've been looking for many years, but have not been able to find any leads on specifically. And at this point, Laura would speak up. Okay, so what's your plan? We're just going to go plane hopping from place to place until we just happen to stumble upon him? Does that really seem like a great plan, Con? And you're smarter than that. What's your actual idea? He goes, in my travels, I've made contacts, some of the more unsavory types, but there's a clear pattern from the places he's been going, usually to assault either powerful creatures or other deities among the lower planes, whether it be their fortresses or lords themselves. And the success rate is honestly quite stunning. However, he's been traveling back and forth along the lower planes, making his way from the Abyss, or all the way back to the Nine Hells. The last message I have was him leaving the Nine Hells, so if he is reasonably sticking to his patterns, then I need to find it. Let me show you the name of it. He should be going towards Gehenna next.
So, does it seem like he's doing this of his own volition, or he's being ordered to do this?
It wouldn't be something out of character for him, but it's not exactly something I've witnessed personally. Just something I've seemed to always miss by the time I get there.
Okay, the only reason that I ask is you talking about plane hopping and such. One of our friends was recently taken by something, and we got a god to basically look for her, and she wasn't on any of the normal planes. She's been kind of taken into a different sort of place, and there's not many, apparently, according to him, not many places that she could be. And you just mentioned how successful that he had been at getting into, hard to get places. So if do you think he could help us get our friend back, maybe?
I don't know the details of the situation with your friend, but Cotton, much to our chagrin sometimes, isn't exactly the type to turn down a person in need. However, your friend was taken to another plane? A non-prime plane? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Careless, can you, or Dragon, can you help me out in this? There's a lot that happened at the time. Is that what was said?
I mean, she just disappeared. We don't know.
Well, no, because we asked the god that
Phinia.
Phinia. Sorry, it's the top of my tongue.
He
We asked
stares at
Phinia
you.
to look for them, and they looked through the planes, and their specific words were something along the lines of, "I can't find them, and there's only a couple of places in existence where that would be," and it sounded, or it insinuated that it wasn't on a normal plane of existence. And as people that, and I gesture to all of us, that don't really plane hop very often, I wouldn't know where to look. Whereas I was hoping you, and I gesture to these, to basically the old timers adventuring party, Lara and her two less friendly mates. You might have information on that and could maybe assist us, and also, do it. And like, if we helped you, you could help us. Procore.
As Kuma is sort of taking that in, he's thinking. Clothra speaks up first. See, that's a swell idea, but the problem is you're trying to find a needle in Revedia. We have no idea of a tuning fork or possible locations. That gets complicated. Kuma's talented. You might underestimate his skill sometimes, but at the end of the day, he needs tuning items to get to these other planes. If he didn't have that bag full of crap at his side, he'd be stuck here just as much as anyone else is.
Yeah, but would you not? Do you have any idea where things might go that would go to not be found? I guess different planes of existence, different pocket dimensions. I don't know.
Well, Kuma speaks up.
Something a god couldn't find you.
Well, if there's anything that my first instinct would be, if it's a place that God couldn't find, there's one of two reasons. The first and most likely is that it is somebody with a possible demiplane that exists in between the spaces between the major planes, which it would be irregular. Most demiplanes tend to exist in the ethereal realm, in deeper and deeper layers of it, depending on such. But be possible. The second of which, if this was a god who told you that they weren't able to find it, it could be that they may be in another god's domain themselves. One which he wouldn't have access to. They're very picky about stepping on toes like that.
I don't know if it was a god.
It wouldn't necessarily need to be a god. Just something residing in their space.
I see. But is there anything that we could give you that you could do to narrow it down? The location? Oh, mighty adventurers that, were adventuring long before we were.
And she's sort of looking at him, and you see like him look on his face where he's like, oh fuck. Because like you see Laura expectantly looking at him. Actually, make an insight check.
Oh, do I get advantage on this one?
No. This is
Hmm.
not a mental state you're familiar with.
6.
6. You can't tell exactly her intentions, but it definitely seems that she's watching these two almost as if she's testing them. But you can't really understand for what or why.
Mm-hmm.
He takes a second and goes, if she had any objects that belong to it, or if you could find an object maybe closely related to her and the god, was she a cleric? Of some sort?
No, she was adept with a knife. Um,
Did all of Terran's daggers go with her?
Oh yeah, all Terran shit went with her.
um, Jugun, our slightly macabre cleric, has some of her hair.
Clotho just oh, that's weird.
Yeah, I agree.
Weird and useful?
Weird and useful. With hair, I could scry or do something along those lines, but I'm sure if a god couldn't scry on it, I couldn't either. But if you can find me anything or objects related to which it could be, I'd have much better odds of narrowing down at least maybe the plane or where the domain is. I would just...
Related to who?
Related to Terran or related to whatever had taken her. If that seems to be my understanding of the situation. More specifically, the thing that had taken her.
Well, it never took a form. She never told us about it.
Oh, the secretive type. That's helpful.
She just
Yeah, big time.
warned us. Well, she just warned me that it might ask. Might offer me something that would be useful, and that I should not take it.
And then, Clotho, you see like her eyes sort of like, oh! A warlock. Pact maker.
I don't think she was magical, but maybe.
I mean,
Well, she did have some sorts of bewitching abilities.
you've seen her use vaguely magical abilities before.
I don't know if that got
She wasn't
retconned.
simply a melee combatant. She would do uncanny things.
Describe uncanny. I don't think... From the way that you're talking, I don't think it'd ever be... It's not sound similar to my patron, but I'm sure maybe there's some...
How about you, a warlock?
She could gather the shadows around an enemy and weaken them in some way.
I almost as if ignoring your question, Sparks. Interesting. Doesn't sound fiendish.
I
Lied
repeat it.
about it because she didn't.
Maybe some sort of undead?
What type?
The not alive kind.
Yeah. I mean, what type of warlock is she?
Oh, were you talking to me,
What type of warlock
Sparks?
are you? Yeah, you mentioned the patron. I think it's cool. I get all my magic from me, so it's always interesting to work out how it works for others. Like, do you have to ask? Cast a spell or something?
We have a pretty open line of communication. We don't have to ask for specific spells, really. It's more just like, hey, do this for me. I'll help you out more. Where is it? Boom, boom, boom. You find... have you ever heard of Kateo? Does this sound familiar? Angelic being?
Do I recognize that name?
Make me a history check.
Hell yeah!
History or religion?
-1.
There you go.
Oh, what the hell is it? Oh, it's the same. 7!
7? Maybe she means like cat Teo? Maybe it's like a cat god? Maybe?
I nod and I think, yes. Yes, the cat god.
Either way.
It's her cat god. It's a god of luck, of course.
Depending, but if that is the case, assuming she had done something egregious or something to have angered them, it's very possible she was punished for it in some way, based on what you're telling me. not everyone who makes deals tend to make it with the kindest of folks.
From what I know of the situation, it had something to do with her sister that we never met. So I don't think that it was a particularly friendly.
That'll do it.
Deal that happened, although we have absolutely no information. Anywho, do I have anything of Darren's on me at all? Like,
Anything of Terran's?
because I have things Taryn has bought for me, but
I'm trying to think of items you
She
would.
never like dropped a dagger or anything.
So all her daggers were returning.
what about her pistol? She never uses that.
Were they always returning?
Problem is, her object disappeared with her. That's the problem. You also do have a house full of her things, though.
Yeah, but I don't want to teleport to fucking Reveed and back.
Who makes
This
you,
conversation
I
with
think
just
that
Idle.
would be
who makes you think you have
the
to do
simplest
that?
way to go about it.
Well, because
Is it-
the stuff's in Reveed.
If you have any
And they're
personal,
here.
if you have any personal ethics, that would help. The way I'm inclined to think is it has to maybe do something with the Shadowfell if she has any business with that type of place. There's a few deities that claim that as their space. The Raven Queen, for one of them, probably the most prominent. Shdarkai down there, whole bunch of. I've heard actually a whole bunch of very weird strings. Vrakmo, he's over there. Don't think she would mess with him, but as I said, that's me being able to help is really dependent on having some sort of context, which it sounds like you all don't really have.
Do we know
No, not
Marisol's name?
She's never said the name out loud.
Of course she hasn't.
Because that would be helpful.
It'd be amazing if Liz permadeathed her character by means of being too vague.
Do you know someone she was talking to? I was watching her a little while ago.
Dragon, every time you mention things, have you considered being less creepy?
Well,
I mean,
it sounds like she
again,
might be the
I'm
most
happy
helpful
that
right
you're
now.
a stalker, but
I don't know.
I
I
don't
thought
know
it's
how
kinda
to
charming
feel
that
about
one
this.
time she had all of her skeletons like hold hands in a circle and sort of dance for Dia de los Muertos. They had the fun hats and everything, and there's music.
That's fine. I'm talking about the stalking, honestly.
I was just carefully watching. Because she needs help.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I do it for everyone.
I
All
know.
my friends.
That's the problem. Okay, what did you see, Chicken?
Well, I forget the gentleman's name. I'm sure Jim wouldn't get the person's name. She met this guy in Reveed, and she seemed to be making a deal with him. I watched her cause the guy to disappear.
Like, killed him? What do you mean disappear?
I wasn't sure what she did, but she like swiped her hand, and the guy like disappeared. She made him reappear too, by the way. But that was a bit later.
Oh, I know you're talking about when we went to talk to the groundskeeper.
Yeah.
He did not reappear.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Oh, no, she went back talked to the first guy again. I apologize.
Yeah, no, I remember that, yeah. That guy went poof.
I don't remember that at all, which is concerning, but, you know.
No, he's in the swirling abyss now. He's bye-bye.
But we should probably talk to the guy who she talked to before doing that.
And we don't.
Why?
It seems like he knows more about whatever Terran's thing is than maybe some of you all might.
Elijah, would we have any idea of like, would we know that Baron Samir had ever let on that he'd been a part of anything more than the Watchers with Terran, or that they
Oh
were
no,
working together?
I would say like there was very clearly some personal connection there because it's like they're like a group of like secret agents, and she was working with them as like a level 2 rogue. So like logically speaking, they're while Terran was skilled, but even like contextually at the time, for something like that, it would have been hard for any of you all to have joined such a high level or been a part of such a high level organization with the skill that you had at that point. So like intuitively you could say that you could think that it had to have been something more to it than just business.
Is that who you were talking about, Shogun Samir?
Yes, that's exactly what I was talking about.
Oh, is you talking about making Baron disappear?
No, she didn't make him disappear. But
Oh.
she talked to Baron before she did so.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah,
Baron
yeah.
sort of disappears of his own volition all the time. That's sort of what he does.
I forgot his name. Thank you for remembering.
Well, he's the only, they were sort of like two sus peas in a sus pod. So we could go see if we can find the root of that stem.
Quam is gonna sort of fish around in a pocket in one of his bags and tossing it over to you, Sparks. If you get anything, feel free to let me know. You're friends with Laura. I don't mind at least helping out for what I can, but as I said, I just need a little bit more to work with.
Well, when we go back to Revedia, I'm sure there's stuff in the house that we own there that can get help. Yes.
Understandable. But returning to the important question at hand, Laura, are you coming or are you staying? This could be the last chance we have to see Cotton again before we lose him. And as there's sort of silence in the room, she hasn't really spoken for a few minutes now. Because I've only recently regained my abilities. I still need time to adjust before going on another plane hopping adventure. It wouldn't be responsible to do so. And you see Clotho just sort of not like it's almost like a very subtle eye roll that maybe like Jungin and Zothar pick up. Like, I thought that would happen. Either way.
Are you sure you don't want to go, Laura? I know. I mean, I understand that you're getting back into the hang of things, but like, this feels important enough that maybe.
I know exactly how important it is.
I know you know. I'm just, I also know how angry you are at these two. So, I feel like it might be clouding your otherwise normal judgment.
As you see her contemplate for a second, you see her sort of stand, or already standing, hadn't really sat down, um, step over to the mantle, sort of looking at the items upon it. And you see as for a long moment, she stares at the two amulets upon the mantle. She picks them both up, sort of setting one around her neck and another, what's it called? Sort of like on a waist loop at her side. If I find out this is not Karan, and that this is some cruel twist or joke of fate, I'm going to lose my shit. And two very opposite reactions. Quam just goes, understandably so. And then Clothra immediately says, the gang's back together. Mostly. Which, like, after saying mostly, like, kind of, like, winces after she says it, as she realizes what she said. Oh. We still have a bit more time before we need to head into Gehenna. So, if you have any preparations you'd like to do, please feel free to do so. And to you, Sparks, and friends, I'm sorry I did not get all of your names. That was rather rude of me. Quan, Clothra, I've picked up on some of them though. Juggin, Sparks, they're like awkwardly like is looking at you, Zelthar. Is like,
I kind of just awkwardly look back.
Is it Zelthar?
Zelthar.
Hi.
Yes, and Kalis. I think you told me that. We'll be on the material plane for at least maybe a week or so before we're going to have to head out. So if you discover anything in that time, feel free to let me know. That sending stone should work even if I'm not on the material plane. It'll just be a little bit more complicated for me to do anything of substance to help you out.
Okay. Thank you.
Huskin goes, we'll be back in a few days, Laura, if you have any other preparations you'd like to make. As Ace, he sort of like begins making his way towards the door. And, you know, with a curt nod, he steps out. Sort of more relaxed, Clothra follows him. And through the still open window, you just hear her say, honestly, I thought that was going to be way harder. As he just,
You're
shut
welcome.
up. Oh. Oops. As they make their way off back into the woods towards Evermore.
I will turn to Lara, and I would imagine that she does not look happy with me right now. She's like that.
She doesn't seem... She seems upset. It's not exactly pointed towards you, though. It seems to be a large... It seems to be a variety of things that have been building up that haven't had to be dealt with for, you know, probably close to a century. Or close to, like, 60 to 80 years. And kind of just got put in her face. So there's, like, that aspect to it. I wouldn't say it's directed towards you. You just happen to be in the aura of it.
Yeah.
And she sort of walks over, called him out the pot. Breakfast is done. Feel free to make yourself bowls. She goes to set the table.
Yeah, I will make bowls for everyone and then pass them out.
Then does anyone try to break the tension through this meal? Just out of curiosity.
I'll try.
You know what?
Physically, I don't know how to break the tension with words. but,
No. You're
Like Sparks would. He's charismatic.
yeah. I'd say feel free to give me just like a persuasion check.
Uh,
18. After a few sort of lighthearted jokes about not really the situation, trying to steer away from that, talking more about like all the weird shit that had happened going in to the trial of Mistra, you know, like the fucking recursive forest, the weird giant guy who just got fucked up off screen,
mhm.
all that stuff. You definitely can tell everyone's a bit more relaxed. She still seems like distracted, but like there isn't like that sort of like anger sort of sitting in that there was before. What is this? Oh yeah, I forgot you have that. But unless you guys have like any major stuff you'd like to do while you're sort of still out here, probably a little after breakfast, probably close to like maybe like 10 or so. You'd hear another knock at the door, and you would see like the sort of bulking frame of Ken, sort of called pass by the window beforehand. It was, you guys thinking of heading out soon?
I will turn to Laura and go, you're good without us, right? Especially if you're going out into the realms.
I'll be fine. It's familiar territory.
Then yeah, I guess we will be leaving too.
Of course. Be safe, you all. Please. I know it's probably hypocritical for me to be saying that to you all right now, considering the situation, but nonetheless. And if please keep me updated on what happened and what's going on with Taryn. Just from the very brief interactions I've had with her, she seems like a good person at heart. I'd hate to see something bad happen, or worse happen.
As
No, Ethan, we
is
cannot.
getting ready.
You're muted in Discord.
Don't know if he said anything.
His lips ain't move.
Ah.
Oh? Nope, can't hear you. Yeah, can't hear you now.
Has your mic changed?
That's truly unfortunate. Hey, why don't we take a quick 5 minutes?
Into Jersey Mike's.
Yeah, we're gonna go on a 5-minute break. We'll be back when Ethan has his audio.
You had a Mike's Hard Lemonade?
Jesus fucking Christ. Hello, everybody. We're back, and nothing weird's about to happen, right? Because as you guys are getting ready to go back to Reveed, right?
Right.
Okay.
Well, it's not weird, but I would like to call upon my god. See if he can help me locate Tarek.
Okay. Roll D100.
What do you need? Like 10 or less?
15 or lower.
That is
No.
not a 15.
40 away.
Hey, do you think you can, Joe? Do you think you
Just a
could
little
Tides of
bit.
Chaos that? Think you could reduce that roll by 40 points?
I shall bend luck, and by that I mean reroll!
In your wet fucking dreams. Anyways.
Gross.
You see, you just roll out. Oh, never mind. See, I got a 40. I reduced it by that number.
Fuck off.
Perfect.
That's a bad number. I don't like that number.
There you go. Thank you so much.
If you'd rolled the opposite of that, the inverse of that, you would have gotten it.
Alright. So, as you were all sort of gathering in front of the cabin, Vaughn's there. He's like, if you all don't want to, I can handle the teleportation spell.
I was just gonna use a
The circle? Yeah.
yeah, the circle, because we have one at the guild, right? And
Uh,
we can just rather than having to teleport.
Indeed, yes.
Exactly. It's fine. I can do it.
Oh, by all means, then.
I haven't used it for a while. I need to, remember how to do it. But one second, and I'll walk up to Bara and I will give her a hug. Which is something that I don't really do very often. But
Yeah.
I will just say I'll wish her well and good luck, and then I will. Presuming that she doesn't say anything, we'll go into the circle.
Just, yes. Be safe, and as I said, keep me updated. You're not the only one who can help people when they need it. She gives a smile.
I will nod, and then I shall draw the circle, and I will, as I'm about to finish the circle, I'll go, right, everyone, line up in a line and run through here in 3, 2, 1, and I finish the circle.
And as everyone begins to pile through, you find yourself in a very familiar location. The teleportation hall of the Bronze Flame!
Ooh.
Oh my god, we haven't been here in, years.
You guys were here recently. It's just been 4 months out of game. 3 4 months out of game. But it's really only been a day. We've been here probably maybe a day or two.
We don't go into the Bronze Flame Guild very often. We just usually, exist within our house.
I thought you were questioning someone here recently, but maybe I'm misremembering.
Like you were just there. Cool. But just, I mean, probably 5 days ago. Now, but can't more longer than a week.
Yeah.
5 days ago. It feels like years.
But as you all make it through, Vaughn or Ranford, we had a few things we need to get settled in town. We haven't been back for a bit, so we'll probably be
Well, it was
heading off of here.
fun
but-
adventuring with you guys.
Yes, it was honestly a pleasure. Not something I expected to do, but I guess that's the job.
I hope to work with you again at some point.
And Ken placing a fucking meaty hand on your shoulder. Maybe next time we'll give you a discount. Because
Yeah, you guys were expensive. I don't think I'm going to be able to afford it for a long time.
don't worry about
The
it.
money was spent.
But consider this. you worked with the Wild Company, and you lived. So that's our trademark. Is
That
everyone
doesn't sound
living?
great. I think we could do with working on a
Yeah,
motto.
I think you should workshop that a little bit.
I'm just saying, not everyone can say that they worked with a high level adventuring with a powerful adventuring party and lived. But we made sure you guys didn't bite it.
We're gonna workshop that. It's bye.
I think it's like you see words left unsaid as Ken goes as Vaughn is about to say something, and then Alice is just like, it's fine, leave it be. They don't know, or he doesn't know. As they make their way back to their sort of rooms in the guild. I'm assuming you guys are going back to the house.
Yar.
Yep. Are you making any stops or
Yeah.
any conversations on the way here with any of the guild members? Just out of curiosity.
I will go and inform probably Zuli, maybe Joanna, that I have been put back together and that there is no calamity of exploding sparks anymore to worry about.
And upon hearing that news, Zuli would be quite relieved. And think that you look different, so you feel different as well. But I'm glad you're able to get it all sorted out.
Less by Mister, yeah, a little bit different. But together again. And also, look at my fur. I'm black. It's been so long. It's my normal hue.
Oh. I didn't know. I just thought you were... Well, it looks good on you.
Okay. Spicy.
Yeah. Yeah, you all make your way back to the house. In the very short span since they have been planted, the trees are maybe about like 40, 50 feet tall.
Oh yeah.
You could see the house from a bit of a ways away. However, no one else would be home. Dazan is not here at the moment. Because you would know that he was working on modifying the submersible with Jay. Actually, no, because it's only been 1 day. They would be here. Dazan and Jay would be in like the sort of like meeting room. You would be able to sort of hear them talking as they seem to be very closely like looking into the work, drawing up plans. Like you see like different like materials, stuff they've been looking at, all that type of shit. So you would see them. Someone's go, "Oh, you've returned. It's you have a fun trip."
John, Jay, I'm so excited to see you both. I give them both really big hugs.
Oh, it's been okay. Thank you.
So, how's guys adventuring go? Do you guys reinforce the submarine?
I mean, it's been a very short amount of time, so we haven't gotten to the practical part of actually doing it yet. But Jay and I, between the two of us, we have a fairly good idea of how we'd be able to, at least in the greater depths. I was more concerned with safety things, so I was trying to see if I could figure out some sort of contingency type spell that we could apply to a part of the ship. That way, if we needed to make a quick evacuation if something happens. But hiring laborers, it's like no one else is touching. Okay, fine. If no one else is touching your craft, hopefully by the end of the week I can have something substantive.
I will let them know the Terran's situation.
Yeah, and there is that sort of like, it's like you didn't notice that Terran wasn't there, but then again that just seemed in character, so they didn't question it at first.
Mm-hmm.
And you see as Zan goes quiet. Do you Did you know? Do you think you can get her back?
Don't know yet. Don't even know where she is. But that's the plan. I mean, we completed Mistress trial, so surely we can do this, right?
Yeah. I'll I'll do what I can as well. I have plenty of time. I don't need to sleep, so if there's any places I can research or fields I can look into, please let me know, and I'll see if I can maybe help pull a lead.
I'll basically just write up a set of notes about everything that has happened and people that we've talked to, and just, basically, hey, this, just so I don't have to keep saying it over and over and over again to different NPCs.
Yeah, you got it.
I will also use the sending stone. I will go into Taryn's room and find something that's particularly Taryn-sized. Something she uses, and, probably Astrigan, considering that she watches us, so she would know what Taryn uses regularly. And then use the sending stone. Inform them that I have an object that they could use.
Okie doke. He says, okay, we'll try, and if you're in Revedia, I'll message you soon. I'll be able to make my way to the city. Big question. Are any of y'all planning on talking to Baron?
I would like to, but I don't necessarily want to do it today. I think we should,
I don't necessarily mean the same day in game, because we don't have to go day by day. You guys have a small amount of downtime in the city. I'm more so trying to get a task list of what you guys are doing in general, as opposed to what you're doing in the given moment.
yeah, I definitely want to talk to the guy. Yeah.
Is that a group thing, or would you just want to send one person to go deal with it?
Group thing.
Group thing.
Hell yeah.
I
So,
guess it's a group thing.
in the midst of stalking Terran, you know exactly where Baron lives. Along the mountainside in the upper district, he has sort of like very out of place, like cottage type building that fits just him. Along like it's not too far along the north side of the city, because it's like a big mountain where Castle Arcadian is, and it'd be beneath that. So you could go, and assuming you do, because otherwise that statement you just said, that'd be weird if you weren't going. As you make your way over, you got to knock on the door.
Yes, I definitely will knock on the door. Yeah, I realize. I'm very used to just me and my mic. Yeah, I'll knock on the door, like.
And you hear noise coming from inside, and a few moments later, you see the door begin to creak open, and you see the face of Baron. Baron looks fucking like exhausted. Like you could see like the bags under his eyes, like sort of sense. Oh, everyone's in tow. What can I help you all with?
Need some help, Baron. So Aaron has gone missing. I explained to what exactly
Yeah.
happened, Baron.
Come inside, please.
Thank you. Ooh, this is a nice place you got here.
Thank you.
I like the chair.
Yep, I usually don't have company very often, so there's only 2 chairs in here. Yeah, well, looking into the cabin, there's not much in here. Like, there isn't even, like, extra, like, rooms. It's sort of like he has a bed, like, in a corner he has, like, a trunk with some stuff by it. You get the feeling, Sparks, just, like, passing it. There is, like, arcane wards protecting this place. Like, it's not just a silly little cabin sitting here.
I I will detect magic.
Okay, you sense divination magic on the doors. On the back wall, there is this object that's kind of like a standing mirror, which you sense transmutation magic from. Yeah.
Uh, do I also see
Conjuration.
anything shenaniganery with my newfound sight?
Oh, yeah, because the thing is, there isn't really like a toggle switch for the true sight thing. Everyone else
No,
sees a
there's
mirror. You just see a void where the mirror is. It looks.
Void.
It looks like you see like that like Vanta black material type stuff, where just like it absorbs like all light. That's what that specific mirror is. And you've looked in other mirrors since then. Those mirrors have looked normal. So for him, it almost looks like a really ugly, like a really weird fucking painting he has for you. But
Do I get the touching the mirror would be bad? Oh, good. Do I get a feeling?
Make a flat charisma check with your spellcasting modifier. Yeah.
Charisma check. 29.
I wouldn't say you necessarily get a bad feeling as like a not like an evil one, or like something that sort of bad, but it's definitely a like a that's a very big question mark for me to just poke around with. You've had similar moments in your life. I'm not saying it influences your decision. I'm just saying that you have a moment where you're like, this feels like one of the things where if I fuck with it, it does have consequences. You get a vibe.
It has consequences eventually. I will let the group know that the mirror is a void.
This
Sparks? That's very good.
and as he sort of looks you up and down. Oh. Well, the protections on it aren't anything too complex. That's all inside. It's fine if you know.
Why is it a void?
Frankly put, I don't know if I'm going to answer that question yet. Taryn... Oh, God. Of course she did.
You know where we can find her?
I think it's time I break some news to you about Taryn that she seemingly has not felt obligated to do. Despite the faith that you all have put in her and otherwise around. A few years ago, or maybe roughly a year ago, I took Taryn in as a ward, perhaps. Not really the most appropriate word, but it was a favor done for her family, given the situations that they were involved with. You all know the function of the Watchers, to observe and deal with magical phenomena that happen across the lands of Revedia, and whatever threats that may be to the city of Revedia. Taryn was one explicitly involved in one of those events. She had made a deal with this creature, this being of the Shadowfell, and in exchange for the gifts that it granted unto her, unknowingly, the cost which she would pay, or the cost that she would pay for it, was that being would then gain possession of her sister, which she may have told you about, maybe not all the details. But while it may not have been an intentional consequence to her actions, it was one nonetheless. And her sister is a very peculiar person, magically. Similar to yourself now, you could say, Sparks.
blessed by
Something.
something.
I would love to say that I could tell you what, but given the lack of her presence, it's not like it's a field we could research very well. From what we do know is, and the room shakes. And you, Sparks, you see, well, you would all see this, it just look differently, I guess. The mirror that is on the wall begins to ripple, almost like the surface of water. And you just hear this sort of a deep, rasping voice say, "Bring them to me." As Baron looks surprised towards the what's it called? Towards the mirror. Is that
Baron,
truly necessary?
do you have an evil twin that lives in the mirror?
If only.
Wait, actually, if we look in the mirror, are we reflected in it?
Yeah, no. You guys are, yeah. It shows your reflections as normal.
Okay.
And and as he goes to sort of question the authority put before him, the voice once again says, "Baron, obey."
I mouth Baron obey and try and trick everyone into thinking that voice is coming from my mouth.
What?
So, from my true sight, does the actual mirror ripple whenever someone speaks, or is it just do I hear the sound coming from it?
When you hear the sound come from it, it's almost as if you see like a pinprick of light begin to pierce through that blackness. Not like large enough to like actually like shine on anything, but just enough to like sort of like slightly unveil that which is behind.
Well, all I'm saying is I'm a pretty good lip reader, reverse lip talker guy.
You're throwing your voice. Yeah, I understand.
I'm 100% convinced we should totally go in there.
Well, I mean,
Let's go, Zeltlar.
why not?
And as he gets up, what you are presumably going to see is among things that it's not sensible for you to see in the first place. But who shall request your presence, so it will be granted.
Does that name mean anything to me?
No, you didn't have to roll for it.
Cool.
Pretty secret. He's a
Yeah.
Look
secret.
at the roll.
He's secret. I mean, I out of character know who that is, but I'm excited nonetheless.
I got the roll.
Question.
History?
For Baron.
Yes, go for it.
And that is
19.
Nope.
is it
So
a
'cause my
DC 30
antlers
check?
won't.
Sorry, my bad. Yeah,
I'm just trying to contextually understand how you would have even any way of remotely knowing about his existence, given the anomaly that he is, which you know.
He's totally concealed in this like pocket dimension or wherever the mirror leads. I don't think he leaves. I think he's too big to get out.
So scrunch down, get one horn in, and then scooch over like this, get the other horn in.
It won't say a
No.
30. I'd say like any information, at least to know the name, would be like at least like a 25 though. Just like it's one of the most obscure figures, and it's not even written in Revidian history. But
Yeah.
you had a question for Baron Sparks? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean it's not super important. I because he mentioned the watchers, need to monitor magical occurrences. I wanted to ask him if I was a threat to them briefly because of my ability to explode.
Oh, undoubtedly.
Were you watching? Like, what was your contingency plan? Did you have one?
That's classified information.
Come on.
As he sort of gets up, I suggest you follow behind me closely. The rooms can shift very quickly.
Sparks, don't worry. I believe you'll always have your ability to explode.
Make an insight check if you would like, though.
I mean, I'll go for it, but this. I don't think I can roll high enough.
I forgot you had a
with
minus.
The wire cutters, like pulling out his whiskers, like trying to cut the wire to the palm.
To touch my whiskers.
So because I'm simply too tall with my antlers, I'm going to like plank on my side and then like roll onto my left side on the floor in front of the mirror. I'm just gonna reach up and grab like the edge of the mirror frame and just like pull my body through.
Yeah, as soon as the
pull up.
tips of like your antlers touch into the mirror, because Baron would step through first, and you would watch as for the rest of you, it would visibly change, almost looking like a passageway. But as soon as like the tips of your antlers pass through like the threshold of it, you find yourself like on like solid ground, not even having to go through the mirror itself. Almost like you were just like directly teleported. And when you are, you see this sort of room of like shifting corridors.
But
you
I'm
know
on
what?
solid ground, like on my side.
Yeah, you're just on your
Safe
side.
position.
Yes.
What you're saying?
Could I detect magic? And do I see anything shiny in the corridor thing?
This immediate corridor is what's it called? I believe it's conjuration. But you would see as Baron continues walking, and he's like sort of walking through like doorway to doorway, and through each one, like the tech magic sort of like cuts off at like a threshold to each one until you enter the room. And as you sort of look back and are looking forward, you can see like the rooms like shifting almost as if like shifting like on a dial, like the various like rooms. And as he's continuously making his way forward, all these rooms would just give conjuration, which you will detect in approximately 15 seconds, is really cool stuff. And like the objects, the presence of which make you like immediately anxious. As you are walking through, and the rooms that are existing shift until he steps into one, which is just one long hallway. Excuse me, heading down to the darkness. Along it, you see what's it called? Almost as if behind like this sort of like glass like materials, like sort of like not like cupboards, they're still like impressed into the wall. You see various objects, assumedly magical, sealed in all sorts of ways. You see some wrapped in chains, surrounded by infernal script. You see a sword that's been encased inside of a diamond. You see an amulet that currently, you see an amulet that sort of like rests upon like inside of like a gold like bird cage. Very weird things. But Sparks, with your detect magic, you can variously tell these are incredibly powerful magical items. Probably more so
Artifacts.
Yes, these are artifacts.
Yeah.
Probably because I don't think you guys have really encountered anything that crazy outside of the Mythalar.
Hey Juggen, ask Kanji if he could take ask Kanji if he could take that cup in a fight.
Hey Kanji, can you take that cup in a fight? I kind of like direct this shovel person up towards it.
And there's like a massive like fucking golden chalice that's like 15 feet tall. It's like
It's the Holy Grail, you know, no big deal.
I guess I don't know. It's not moving. Gold is a conductor. Who can say? But as he stops.
Power level, man.
He stops as the hallway opens up, into this massive circular room, and you see torchlights begin to sort of wrap around the walls, foom, 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 until they sort of encapsulate the room. And lying down in the very center of which you see this creature, this dragon that's absolutely like it. It makes the sort of great worms seen inside of the moving wilds look like children almost. This absolutely massive creature, hundreds of feet long, wings that, if spread, could encapsulate the entire room. And I believe Usharan. I don't remember what color dragon he is. Is he black?
Is he not a black dragon?
I believe.
Black.
Yeah. You see these sort of black scales reflecting all of the light in the room. However, none of it reflects off of his eyes as you see them sort of bearing down upon you.
Dragon.
It is.
I'm Mr. Dragon.
Welcome to you all, companions of Terran.
Does his voice like boom to like
If
extremely loudly?
you hear it normally, almost like a person just standing, talking in front of you guys, which seems probably just as weird as if it was booming.
Mm-hmm.
I have regrettably to inform you that the one you've traveled with for so long up to this point has found themselves in a terrible ordeal. The best I can promise you that at least in the moment of her absence, Terran is not dead. However, the things that her future holds is not something that I can predict. However, I can at least tell you where she may be. And as Baird, looking also sort of surprised by this information, for aeons, I have been the one that has led this group. While Baron may be the face to the outside world and the kings that lie afore, I have watched this before kingdoms existed. I have known this place before it was called Revedia, and I have known this place before it was called anything. Where's that?
You know Osiris?
I'm sorry, say it one more time?
Oh, you might know him better as Far. Do you know Far?
Yes, I'm familiar with him and the forms he's taken.
That's nice. Sweet guy. Glad you know him.
I was there and watched his ascension into godhood, along with him and the others. But to bring forth a point in which I have brought you here, or to bring forth the reason I brought you here. Long ago, there existed one known as the Raven Queen, a figure some of you may be familiar with in your history and the stories told in the realms of man. Rarely talked about is the children of said woman. Not in the typical sense as you all would have them, but ones created from her ideals. And more specifically, the one whose hands had grasped Terran's fate long ago. His name is Marisol. No god, though he may call himself that. He is the Raven Queen's patron of tragedy. And I believe strongly that the reason that Terran may be in the situation she is now is because she had defied him for too long, and that whatever happened betwixt you all was the final straw for such. As with most beings of the Shadowfell, he is one who thrives off misery. And while it may be a task that some of you wouldn't do enthusiastically, if you wish to find Terran, it will be a land you'll be forced to dwell into once more. It departs much deeper than you've seen. Nope, that's not what I'm looking for.
So, I have a question. Mr. Big Dragon person. So, by all means, I am grateful that you are helping us, with Terran, but is she, like, important to you or something? Because it kind of, this audience that we have right now, it feels kind of strange that you would show yourself, I guess, to us.
To be frank with you, Terran is not my primary interest in the reaching out towards all of you. However, she is the only connection, and she is the bond that has to be severed in order for the freedom of her sister, which is somebody who could cause a great deal of strife for all the lands above and below if her powers were to be grasped by one with malicious intent, or if she were to build them herself. If worse comes to it, and from the feelings I get while something is veiling her, I no longer sense Marisol's grasp on Terran's sister. Something still veils her. I have strong reason to believe that Terran is possibly one of the only ones who would be able to grasp her location.
Well, okay. Thank you for the answer. That clears things up.
However, with that as it may, the task before you is not one so simple. Even if you know where and to find Terran, vaguely, the true trial will become when you have to find a way to break her bond with Marisol, for that is the only way that she can truly be free from his grasp.
So, I don't suppose you think we have any shot in actually, ending Marisol, do you? We're probably gonna have to find some other way, right?
As long as misfortune exists in the world, Marisol will find a way to continue to exist. As I said, he is no god, but he is a being that exists, and as many in the Shadowfell, that exists off the misery of man. There is no way to remove Marisol without removing life.
How do we sever the bond then? If he is a force.
And give me 1 second. I gotta. Apologies. That knowledge is one that has been exclusive to many. Many of those who find themselves with patrons find themselves in their deals in varieties of ways. To a devil, it's the destruction of a contract. For for the elder ones, it's more invasive. It's an acceptance of their power, and and from then it's a possession of the mind, an internal dwelling within their soul that has to be taken. The roots of Marisil's binds have always wrapped around one thing, and that is the following of misfortune that follows one who is bound to them. For if they can create, for even if they unintentionally can create a worse world, they make him more powerful. There exists one object in which, what's it called? There exists one object that exists which has been known, or has the possibility to be able to change one's fortune, as you may say it. Turn that of the great into the small, and the small into the nothing, and the small into the great. They are called. 1 second. It is called the Fate Dweller. An object that resides in a place sadly arguably just as unpleasant as the Shadowfell itself. I gotta keep. Sorry, I have to keep fucking referencing things after I'm forgetting names. Yeah, Fate Turner, and Fate Turner is in. Where's my tab?
Like that one. Does Jungam know who Marisol is? I'm assuming she knows who Ring Clean is because she's a big deal.
Wait, say it again?
Does Jungam know who Marisol is?
I don't know if you guys. I don't remember if she said his name, but I know she's talked about having to have made a deal with something. So you can put. I don't know what she's remember everything she said. So I'm gonna leave that to you.
Jungam's been in the show for like 60 years.
Oh, you're talking about through that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about through the context of Terran. Make me either a history or religion check.
You basically just want to say I can't do it.
Well, I'm sorry. You want me to make you roll a perception check?
Yes.
No. Look, you chose your stats.
I'm surprised that your religion isn't better.
Nope, but intelligence base?
Yeah, I'm presuming you had proficiency in it.
There's a lot of sort of creatures and powerful beings that exist within the land of the Shadowfell. And as many names as you've heard, you've heard the name of Marisol before, but it's kind of like in a flood of many other things that you've heard as well. So you're not exactly, it's not something you would exactly like explicitly like looked into or anything like that. Because also a lot of people there don't care because the Shadar-kai kind of have their own like really weird cult thing going on. You were there for that. The Fate Turner is an object that exists in, as I said, what was I saying? The Fate Turner exists in a place arguably as terrible as the Shadowfell, but for many reasons, for many ways, different. The Supreme Chaos is where it resides. In Tempest.
Ooh.
In the lair of Limbo. Or in the land of Limbo.
I'm good with chaos.
It was an item that had once roamed about the material plane, but, well, either luckily or unluckily for us, was taken by the Gither's Eye. Rather peaceful people compared to their cousins who ride along the seas, or the astral seas, but a dangerous one nonetheless. If if this is a task you think you would all be capable of, then I can grant you the ability to make your way there. However, I cannot promise any safety in your return, or in trying to return.
That's okay. I've been to Shellfell before.
Well, we're going to the Rakow's realm first, and then the Shadowfell. We have to go and get the item that will allow us to unbind Taran in the first place, right?
Correct.
The Fate Weaver. Yeah. So we have to. What? What's in Limbo? Like, what should we expect? I mean,
I just didn't know. Are you asking him or me? Just to check.
I'm asking him.
Okay. Limbo, as I said, the land of chaos where no step you take, where no step taken can ever be certain of its results. When it comes to magic, when it comes to matter, when it comes even to places to breathe.
Okay.
There are zones within Limbo where there are areas of relative safety from this chaos, and that's where you will find the cities of the Gither's Eye, and also that of the Slad, both of which are not groups to underestimate. The Gither's Eye, as far as my knowledge leads me, are the ones who hold this. But it is a formless space. Let's see. Man, how do I fucking describe Limbo?
Without words is probably the best way.
A game you play.
It's a good game. Yes. This, oh, lastly, and specifically, the object you seek should be in a place called the Floating City, the citadel of the Gift, where their religious capital is.
Any idea how we, convince them to give us the item, or are we gonna have to steal it? What sort of vibe are we going into here?
As I said, the Gither's Eye are a relatively peaceful people. But that is...
I mean, if we want someone to say, hey, we need this, they're not just gonna give it to us, are they?
Of course not. That's... You either must find some way for them to willingly do so, or alternatively, if had to be done, it may need to be, or you may need to take such by force. If you have need or the dare, there are people who live there in which you may find allies in. What's it called? Up until for that is where your lady herself finds her domain, or makes her domain, looking toward you, Sparks.
What? Mistra?
Yes. Gods must live somewhere.
I know, but you'd think that you would live in, like, Celestia or just the Weave itself rather than Limbo.
To put it straightforward, the gods don't nearly need to be in one place at the same time, but that is where the locus of her power is, given that her growth is not finished.
Huh?
What?
What you mean about growth?
The mystery you know is still a young goddess. And not nearly as powerful as the one that had come before. As she grows in strength, the we will itself. Which is why the mortals such as yourself are limited in the ways you are now. For if one were to
Oh, you
try,
mean-
if one were to try to exceed that point, you could risk harming her or harming her.
Yeah, I have definitely read a book into magic and, you know, the powerfulness and the. I understand.
Good. But with that, if this is something this is a task you believe you can embark in, I have the ability to bestow on you a key to Pandemonium, or a key to Limbo. Different, complete. Don't go there.
Oh, we're going
Don't
to
go there. Don't go
Pandemonium
there.
now?
Mm-mm.
Oh!
You watched that one
We're going on
Critical
a
Role
magical
episode.
journey.
Alright, Oshiran. Give us the key to Panic at the Disco.
What?
Don't worry, it's the fourth wall line. Shakespearean.
Well, you know, like maybe we could come back and, you know, maybe we could gather some things together and
You all have the
work
ability
out.
to shift the planes at will. All you need is a tuning fork. If you're not sure about your decision, I understand.
We have. Wait, how? Who?
A
I
tuning
can
Has
do
the
fork?
it.
ability to shift?
Yeah, that's not
Oh.
hard.
Oh, okay. I mean, I can't do that, so.
Yeah, yeah, it's not a big deal. I was just worried about getting back or getting there.
Hey,
I'm-
Oshiran, what do you make of this funky cube?
There you go.
What? Oh,
The funky cube.
there isn't one with Limbo on there, isn't there? I don't believe so.
No, it's like heaven and the Wild Hunt dimension and the Shadowfell.
But there is one that gets back to the material plane. And he already knows about that. You guys had it registered.
Well, yeah, that was just like we were talking to the dev receptionist. You know, it wasn't like a personal us and him kind of a thing.
I'm confused. Are you asking a question?
Yeah, just what do you think about this?
This is a device that would allow you to travel to the planes. It can allow you to return. And make your way to the Shadowfell. However, Limbo is another story, considering that gateway does not give you access to it. And as what's it called? He says that. He's gonna say, Baron, produce the key for them. Have it ready for them when they're willing. Baron just gives a nod. I have no more else to add. If you have any other further questions about the situation, Baron should be able to answer them. And you watch as his eyes close. And he stops moving. Doesn't even look like he's breathing.
Does he do that a lot?
Yes, that's normal.
Oh, okay.
He's lived for millennia. Takes it's a great expenditure of energy to have conversations for this long, especially given that he's sustaining just off magic in the area. Most of which is
What?
he's sustaining just off the magic in the area, and most of it is being sealed away. The artifacts.
Old man dragon needs the nap a lot. I get it.
Yeah, that's the gist.
Do his joints hurt? Do you have to like scratch his back or?
No, I do not scratch his back. We should actually begin to head back to the surface. This place is not the most suitable to wait in while Usharan rests.
I'm just wondering, like, do you do anything to help him survive here?
In his
You
case,
probably have a good deal of manpower in the Watchers.
the amount of members within the Watchers is relatively small compared to every organization in Revedia. We have very few members that watch over very wide areas, but are just very adept at doing so. And he's saying this as he's beginning to walk.
So is there no one else in this cavern at all?
Nope.
Oh, I thought this was like the FBI headquarters.
Just the dragon down here.
You should get some desks. I'll leave.
I have one in my room.
I mean, but like down here, right? You know, because
Wouldn't this
clearly
place
have to come down
some
here a lot.
desks in it?
You know.
But as
Imagine-
you guys are walking out, he sort of stops at one spot, and you see sort of variety of items, like sort of like encased in ice. And as he reaches out towards one, you watch as ice begins to melt away, and sort of grasping onto it, it is this like sort of like constantly like shifting and like moving thing. It looks like a tuning fork that you've seen before, or I don't know if you guys have seen one, but if you've seen one in real life, like they use for like pianos or the tuning shit, or just in general. Except the actual body of it is made of these various elements that seem to constantly like switch places and move around, but he just hold in a physical form, despite the part where he was just holding become like a pocket of air, or water or fire. And he'd grab that, then he would head out. And as you guys follow behind, making his way into the cottage, I don't know, frankly, even as the one who he chooses to lead the Watchers on the outside, there are so many things he keeps from me. This situation is quite unexpected in numerous ways. But if he does call you to action for this, I have no reason to doubt his judgment. As long as you'll have the resolve for it. And
Maybe.
he is being the one who's capable of it. He's going to offer the tuning fork to you, Jagan.
Thank you. I'll make sure I take good care of it.
Please do not lose that. That would be problematic if done.
Just for curiosity's sake, if I reach my hand out towards the block of ice, does it do the same thing as when Baron did?
Doesn't even react to you. It's just you just touch ice and actually make me a Constitution saving throw.
Okay, well, okay.
Were you touching the ice, or you just want to see if it would melt when you got close?
I mean, it'd be more fun if I touched the ice, don't we think?
Yeah, go ahead and touch the ice. Man. Oh, saving throw, not ability check. So what would your proficiency be added to that?
Where is that?
Proficiency would be
go?
another +5, so it would be 20. Well, less.
I guess it'd be 18 with the first one.
Okay. Give me 1 second.
1 second.
So, as you touch the ice, I will say an 18 is a failure. You watch as your body goes rigid, like you're paralyzed for a second, and those of you looking at Kalis see ice beginning to form all around his body. You recognize this as something you had felt before, as you are beginning to petrify. Baron has not turned around to notice this yet. To fix the situation, you're welcome to make another Constitution saving throw, though. 17. Is anyone speak up as this is happening? Or say anything?
I mean, do we see it?
Yeah, no, Kalis did this in front of you guys.
Kalis, why?
Be fine, Kalis. I got you.
And as Baron turns around and looks at this, you see his head drop for a second. It's disappointment.
I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed.
And like honestly, before he does something, he just he watches just for a moment longer, as he folds his arms. Maybe one more Constitution saving throw.
Kalis sort of, so I'm not petrified yet, am I?
You are 2/3 of the way petrified.
But I'm not petrified at this moment.
Not totally, no. You are restrained, though.
Kalis just takes a very rigid posture, and just sort of like flexes his muscles and just like a like a bodybuilder pose a little bit. Just,
Mm-hmm. 20 is just enough. As you do so, the ice begins to break and crackle off of you, slunks to where the edges are,
exterior.
And you still feel cold and stiff. But you are not petrified. You do have a point of exhaustion, though.
Bruh.
You okay, Kalis? I got.
What did you think would happen? Did you think that... No, never mind.
I thought it was ice. I thought it was ice.
Can you melt normal ice by touching it?
You can. I just wanted to see.
Get upstairs.
Just wanted to see.
Are you guys hiring? This place seems really cool.
No, we're
We
not.
get some desks in here.
I'm just curious.
I mean, to be fair, you don't have a do not touch sign. I felt like those are very important.
How do I get exhausted on this sheet?
I clicked it for you.
It's
Basically, right next to your AC, those dots are exhaustion levels.
Yeah,
Oh, those are death saves. Okay.
Yeah, death saves are under your hit dice where that little skull is.
Yeah.
Mm.
But yeah, as you guys begin to head out, do you have any parting words for Baron?
Bye.
sorry
Thank you for inviting us to your little abode. I'd love to hang out in your little secret lair again.
I hope that opportunity does not present itself soon.
I sure it will.
You should probably get like a cat for that dragon. He's probably lonely.
Hello.
You blink and you are outside the door. And it closes.
I don't think we made a good impression.
Well, I think Ethan liked that one.
You banned the dog, right?
Oh, I see. I see, I see, I see. I mean, hey, we're tight with Baron. We've been friends for a minute, sort of.
I don't think we're friends. I think we were work colleagues. and
You
I
also
think we
caught him
just-
at a moment where he was clearly incredibly tired and stressed about something. Which was exacerbated by the fucking head honcho. Be like, bring them to me.
I know. I'm just saying, like, we're good. We'll be fine. It just needs a minute.
Yeah, he's gonna really thank us later on.
I bet you next time we come back, Ustron has a cat.
And some desk.
For the cat.
a
to climb on,
desk
of
with
course.
like
It
a
all goes
couple of
together.
items on, so the cat can push things off the desk.
Ustron has like a fucking like gothic like bronze like headset on, so he can talk to all his agents.
Okay.
Anyways,
Yes.
with that was a wonderful session, you all. And we have something very fun to look forward to when we pick up next week. For those who joined us, thanks. For those who didn't, you're morally corrupt. You're a bad person. You're a bad, bad person if you didn't watch and or enjoy the game. If you watched and didn't like it, you're also bad. Night, everybody.